Right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the Ethics Legislative Subcommittee meeting to order. In attendance, Chair Wallen here, Vice Chair Reynolds,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
and staff. We have Executive Director Armstrong,
Here.
Commission Counsel Bassett.
Here.
Senior Legal Researcher Pani.
Here.
And we have our Executive Assistant, Saldana.
Here.
Right. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To
the
the
flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which
which
it
it
stands,
one nation,
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. This. Right, this time I would like to ask the Executive Director whether the Commission has received any public comment by email to be read into the record.
We have received public comment by email, although I know Mr. Church is here, so I'll defer to him if he would like to give verbal public comment. The public comment we received from Mr. Church was sent to all commission members of this.
That's good enough with me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other members of the public on Zoom that wish to, besides Mr. Church, that would like to comment? Okay. Right. Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and first item of business, approval of the minutes of the January 21st, 2026 Legislative Committee meeting. Commissioners, have you had a chance to read the minutes, and are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
I reviewed the minutes and don't have any corrections, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second?
Chair Reynolds, I'll second the motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, review and discussion of the draft legislative language proposals and possible approval of legislative concepts to forward to the full commission for consideration. Executive Director Armstrong, please make your presentation.
Thank you, Vice Chair Wallen. We met last time. The last time we met, the committee decided to go forward on all of the topics that we had discussed, and so but asked that we come back with some additional gift language. So in the original meeting materials, there's a definition of gift that we had developed and sort of looked at last meeting. And then there's also one of the things that requested was we come back with more factors. So on page 5 of those materials, you'll see 8 different factors. So those have been expanded to include event and non-event type gifts. In addition, between meetings, Vice Chair Wallen found a definition based on federal language, and so that alternative definition is also included. And then we worked up a hybrid version, which has been posted to our website, so it is on our meetings page. And so just a quick on the gift item, I'll just quickly describe kind of the 2 different approaches. One has a general definition of gift, and then there are factors for the commission to consider when analyzing if a gift violates 400 subsection 1, which is our gift prohibition. The alternative approach, the hybrid approach, would be a definition of gift with express exemptions. So it would say certain things are not a gift. And then there would also be some factors to consider. So in that particular case, if you had something that was on the exception to the gift list, it would start out as not clearly not violating 401 because it's not a gift. In addition, you would not need to disclose that gift under 421, and it would not need, or that item, it would not be a something that would also trigger abstention under 423. And so with that, I think I'll toss it back to you, Vice Chair, and you guys can discuss kind of which direction you want to go on gifts, and then There are a couple items after that that I have some clarifications on, but as I prepare the documents for the full commission as well. So those are sort of uh, the two approaches. To have, well, I guess there's three, right? You could have either a generic definition of gift and then factors to consider when a violation of 401 is alleged or somebody's asking for advisory opinion on 401. You could go with just defining it in gift and creating exceptions for gifts, which is what that federal language does. I think that's like from the Department of Interior. Or you could go the hybrid model where the first step is, does this thing qualify as a gift? Yes or no? If it does qualify as a gift, then there are some factors to consider about whether it would tend to improperly influence a public official to depart from the impartial discharge of their duties.
Chair, you're on mute.
It's tax season, you know? I have to say that I really struggle with the gift thing, the original one that we got. I know in our last meeting, I think Commissioner Miller, you said I want to have it kind of fleshed out a little more about what isn't a gift kind of thing. So I kind of worked with Ross and we kind of came up with this. I think for me, and you guys can chime in on your opinions, I like the hybrid approach because it kind of lays it out and then it kind of talks about what would the commission consider if it didn't fall under it's not a gift, what would they consider? So I'd like to hear from you guys and your comments and additions you'd like to make. I know that when we were talking, we said, well, we don't want to have a bill, a law that is like 200 pages long, like Oregon, that has everything spelled out. We wanted to have something that was more succinct, but you want to have it succinct, but still help the person out. I think so. So comments.
I've got a couple comments on there. I find it, well, first of all, we just had a new version sent to us about an hour and a half ago. Really haven't, had time to digest that too much, but my initial read and second read of that is I didn't like it. I thought it was too much. I liked the original hybrid approach, but my main question, and I'll defer to you, Ross, and maybe to Liz on this, is should we be more succinct in the statute and then go into the NACs for, and I know there's some peril to that, but should we go back into the NACs and have our larger definition within the administrative code, as opposed to trying to put everything into the law? So that's a question I had.
Yeah, this is Executive Director Armstrong. One of the challenges we have is that our statutory authorization to enact regulations says we can only enact regulations related to procedure, not to substance of the law. Right. So I think we would run into some issues if we tried to define it further in NAC. That would be the dream. There are other ethics commissions that have the ability to come up with, and it makes them more nimble to respond to issues as they pop up as times change. But our NRS about regulations is pretty specific in terms of procedural items.
So I guess my concern is to be as succinct as you can within the legislation, but not try to define everything. Because I think what happens from there is that we can't cover every circumstance or every type of issue that comes in. So I think that's where our advisory opinions and past case law come in, and dealt with this one. So my experience is when we were working with EMRB and with the board, and trying to look at how we would, for example, bad faith negotiations or illegal practices in elections. We couldn't basically go and try to deal with everything that you had within the statute. So there was a lot of, that's why you have a commission, and that's why you have, basically past advisory opinions or past cases that you draw on. So I think there's a balance there, Ross, between those two. And I think try to be succinct within what we're going to ask for in the statute, but not try to cover everything. And so it's going to leave us a little bit open in terms of for trying to make a determination on individual cases. But that's the way that's why we have a commission, and that's why we, go through and discuss these cases and then make decisions based on that or based on past advisory opinions or past practices, past cases. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that's kind of how I think we should do it. I think if we try to get too specific in the law and try to put all the cases or different types of examples in there, I think that really creates more heartache than headaches than you would if you have it more general.
This is Commissioner Miller. I appreciate your approach. My concern is that our precedent is great for those of us who live ethics every day and sit on the commission, but for those that are trying to understand whether or not what they're doing is a violation or not, I think clarity, and I like the hybrid approach because I do think it allows some visibility into the way we're approaching the problem, and there's still that ability for them to come to us and say, is this a gift or not? But it also sets some precedents. We recently looked at some cases that I think wouldn't, related to public officials going to events that this hybrid model kind of clarifies. So I look at it as this is a step in the direction of giving them insight into the way we're interpreting it and our past precedent. So I like the hybrid model. I think it's a great opportunity for us to codify, what the commission is going to look at when it looks at gifts. So I like it.
So John, let me ask you, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one we just received? Or are you talking about?
I'm talking about the F1, like going to an event that you're formally, I think the one we just received. I like the one we just received.
Okay.
So Vice Chair Reynolds, you're talking that there might be too much, but there's only like 6 items of what is not a gift, and it's pretty, and it's things that we have had come before us before where somebody has said, well, can I go attend this event? It's for educational purposes. And we've had to do an advisory opinion to tell them that, yes, because it's educational, you can do it. And then I know that there was concern, especially now that we're going to have all these sporting events in Vegas, that there's going to be confusion, can we attend the event? And this kind of spills it out. If you're going there for ceremonial purposes, throwing out the first pitch or whatever, you can go. So that was my feeling. I like the hybrid, define a gift, and then talk about how the commission would look at things if, say, a complaint was filed or somebody asked for an advisory opinion, what would be the things that the commission would consider. That was
I guess my concern is if you go to legislature with the one we just received, I think you're going to, I think it's going to be a problem trying to get that through. I think you're going to get torn apart. And I don't think they're going to buy into that. And they're going to want to add or subtract a lot of different things. And they're going to say it doesn't provide enough clarity. I've never found it that difficult because when I worked under Governor Sandoval, he had his own policy on gifts and on ethical considerations, and it was pretty clear cut on that. I know, the cities and counties, a lot of them have their own standard of ethics for that they have for their public employees, and or some of the charters even have it for their elected officials. So I just think you can't put everything in there to be able to cover everything, and you're going to have a difficulty trying to get it through. So having been
Good.
worked with the legislature as you have, Kim,
Mhm.
and Ross has over the years, I just see that it's going to be very difficult. So I tend to look at little more compressed version of it.
I guess the first one that we got, to me, it was just I don't know. The first one that we got didn't really give a lot of clarity, I didn't think. I thought it was lacking. I thought it was rather confusing for the average person. That was my thoughts.
Yeah. I didn't think it was. Having gone through that, having lived in that
Yes, but
era for a long time in different circumstances, city, county government, state government, and even on federal level, I just didn't see it was that difficult. So,
we have a lot of new people.
Well, I would say that I once again I go back to the fact that I do think we want to approach this as something we think has a high likelihood of getting through the legislature. And any definition is a advancement like to what we currently have. So I can support either one. I do think that the hybrid gives a little bit more, clarity for the average person, but
well,
go back and look
I
at
don't
it.
I don't disagree with you, John, and I think anything we can do that moves this forward is significant. I just want to make sure that we have two things. One, that we provide enough clarity that a reasonable person would say, "Okay, I understand that." But the other part of it is that, and the second issue is that we're not so specific that we're tied to those specific examples or issues within the legislation. That we do have some latitude to be able to look at each individual circumstance that comes before us and not have this kind of a rigid template for review. And I think you need to, because things change. 10 years ago we didn't have an F1, and we didn't know what that was going to entail, and we didn't have different types of we didn't have a pro football team or a pro basketball team coming, or baseball. So there's or other types of examples that things change. So I think you don't want to keep changing the laws. You want to have a template that works for you, that's fairly open to be able to consider individual cases. I mean,
So let me ask you this question, where we talk, where we talk about what the term gifts, what is excluded from gifts, that what in there would be so constraining that
I think the definition, Chairwoman, the definition of gifts is fine. I don't have any problem with that. It's just that some of the different criteria that we've outlined in there, I think, is almost a little too specific. Like I said, I just got this an hour and a half ago.
I know. I mean,
and I haven't had really time to kind of walk through it mentally and compare it to the basic real life examples of issues that we're facing and I've faced with employees over the years. So I want to look at it from that context. So I'm not saying I disagree with it totally. I just want to make sure that we're not boxing ourselves in.
Okay.
Okay.
Then in that case, do you want to mull it over and we do another meeting and finalize it? Or
I know everybody's going to go, well, I would prefer that because I want to make sure that what we have
I'm
is
okay with that. I would rather we can move on to the other two.
Yeah, and we'll just
I'm okay. I will admit that it's a fast decision making thing. It's hard to compare what we took out to what the change to make sure we're really catching everything. It seems to me the other one is clear, but I would enjoy more time as well. So I'm
I
have
know
another meeting.
Ross is going, oh God, but I would rather get it right and have it well thought out. And I apologize, you guys didn't get it till later, but I started mulling this over this week and in between returns and power going out for 8 hours. And so anyways, so I would rather table this part that we vote on and then schedule a meeting like next week if you guys are available or.
I can be available next week.
Hmm?
I can be available next week.
Okay.
I can
We-
too.
Yeah, we can't do it next week based on open meeting law, but we can do it the week after.
Oh, that's right, because today's Thursday. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. We'll still have, and then we'll probably need to do it like that Monday or Tuesday. So we have
We have to get
information.
it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because to get it in time for our next meeting. So let's see. Hang on here. Yeah, so that would be the week of the 16th, right? Or no?
No, it would be
the week before.
yeah,
the
the
week
9th or
before.
the 10th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good all day on the 9th.
Yeah, I'll get back to Ross. What I'll do is I'll go through it and some of the issues that I had, and I'll get back to you the next day by tomorrow. And then so you can see some of the concerns that I had.
Are you guys good on the 9th?
It's a Monday?
Yes.
Excuse me, it's not Monday. I think so.
Okay. All right. So Ross, you guys good for that Monday?
Yes.
The 9th?
Is there a specific time that works best?
Whatever time works. I'm wide open that day. So any time better for you, Vice Chair Reynolds, because I know that you're.
Anytime in the morning's good for me, but I'll defer if it's better for you because I know you're
Okay. Yeah,
on
I mean,
the deadline scheduled for taxes. Or 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon is fine too.
no, I can do it in the morning. So what's good for staff?
The morning would be better for me, but
Okay. Yeah. Ross,
Yeah, that works like 10.
10?
10's great.
10's perfect. Okay, March 9th. Okay. Yeah, just take a look at it. And I have to tell you that when this kind of got put together, I was thinking about cases that we've had where we've had people come to us for advisory opinions about attending a conference and can they do this? And we know that we've had the ceremonial issues, or educational things. So that was kind of like my line of thinking on that. So please look at it, get back to Ross and Commissioner Miller, same if there's other things you want to see on it, because we want to do it right, and who knows what the legislature will do this next session. So,
True.
it's a coin toss, right? All right, let's go ahead and get back to the other ones that we had for this, or other items.
Yeah, the other one that I wanted to double check on is at the last meeting we had some public comment about the mandatory training and that 30 days might be too soon, especially for those like legislators who typically have new member orientation within a 60 or 90-day time period. And so I wanted to check if you want to move that from 30 to another time period or make a specific exemption for legislators or what you might want to do on that one.
I think 60 to 90, 60 days. I don't want to go 90 days because then you're going to go into the
Session.
The session. Right. So 60 days is probably fair.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And then the other one, it wasn't a thing for it wasn't for a decision, but what I was going to tell you is on the documentation. I know we had a discussion last time about the cooling off and some confusion about that. So I'm going to relabel that from cooling off to strict 1 year to just a lobbying prohibition, because that's what we're really talking about. So no decision needed from you, just a heads up that that's what it'll look like when we do the final package, because I think that will clarify some of the questions folks had last time, and avoid the questions about, are we restricting people from where they go within 1 year? No, we're not seeking to expand where people can't go after a year. We're just saying you can't go lobby your old agency for a year. So
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But Commissioner Miller, you're on mute too.
I'm willing to make a motion on the mandatory training that with the adjustment to 60-day, that we move it from the legislative committee to the whole commission.
Okay. What about the cooling off?
I'm willing to do the lobbying as well, if you want to put them together.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Pose. Motion carries.
Very good, John. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, so we'll have the other one. So at least you've got the other sections are ready to go. So we just need to work on the gifts there and go forward. And yeah, I appreciate your comments, Vice Chair Reynolds, because yeah, you've been around a lot, so and seen a lot. Yeah. All right, next item is item 5, commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners that have any comments or want to identify any future agenda items? Okay, right, thank you. Public comment, Executive Director Armstrong. Has the commission received any additional public comment by email to be read into the record?
we have not.
Are there any members of the public who are attending in person, either want to speak? Right?
Thank you.
Are there any, okay, so I don't see anybody else on Zoom who wants to speak. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
See you on the 9th.